Hello, you. Welcome back to this course. We are now in the second part of this course, which we will do together, a project. I chose a simple blog post to be the project for this tutorials because it's so simple and it's general and it has the basic things to get on any general web application. So let's get started with our application. I will maybe split this videos to 2 or 3, so they will be a bit long and we will stick around together much longer. Let's go. Let's get going. I downloaded a Laravel, a fresh Laravel project from Laravel documentation. So do the same as I did maybe in the second video or in the first one. Now let's jump back to the code. It's a fresh Laravel installation. The first thing I love to do with new Laravel applications is to install the Auth package and the authentication system. So to do that, wait a minute, let me just arrange this to be easy to go to the browser. I just opened the authentication part in the documentation and we can scroll down until we see that we composer require the UI. Okay, so we will download this package and we download the packages from the terminal. So make sure that you are inside my blog. This is the name of the folder I downloaded my blog. So let's paste this command and let's hit enter. It will download this package for us, and until it downloads, let us just go and check the database. It's the Laravel. I decided to use the same database that we created in the previous videos, so it's my blog. It has some tables. I will show you how to migrate a fresh migration into the database. Now the installation is done. Let's go to the documentation and see what's next. So the next thing, you are going to PHP Artisan, the Auth. It uses the Vue framework, Vue.js. Previously it was PHP Artisan make Auth, and it does everything for us. But for now, the new versions of Laravel, it uses this command. So it suggests us to npm install. Actually, this thing uses the Node.js. So if you don't have Node.js, just go to Google and download Node.js. If you go to Node.js page, you will download it for Linux or Windows, whatever. It's available for every platform. So let's type this command suggested for us, npm install. And what this does is you have a file here. It's the JSON file. It's not that actually. It's the package.json. It has all the Node.js packages that will be installed or required to be installed. So when we type npm install, it installs these things for us. So if you can notice that this folder appeared, and it's a very big folder. If you upload the project to GitHub, for example, it will upload it without the Node modules because it's an extra space. So if you download any Laravel project from GitHub or any other platform like GitHub, you just need to download the npm install again. So we can see here that it gave me some warning. It's okay to have warnings, but you shouldn't have any errors. Okay, so it suggested to run npm install first and then run npm run dev to compile the installation. So let's copy this command and paste it. All right, and wait for it. It will not take so long. It depends on your computer speed. And now it compiled. Let's see now. We can find things happened in our resources, views. We can find this new folder created for us. It's the auth folder. It has the login page and the registration page and some other useful things that we can configure. but for this project, we are not going to touch anything in this folder. It's basically a form, okay? And it's extended the layouts.app for us by default. And it has a simple form here. It has an input for the, where is it? No, this is the remember me. It has an input for, this is the password, all right? This is the password section, and this is the email section. So if you want to log in, this is the email where you will enter your email, and this is the place where you will enter your password, all right? So these are the basic things that comes with the auth package. And if we close this and we go to the web application and refreshed, we will find those beautiful links are appeared in our page. All right. So for now, we don't have. Actually, we have the users table. So if we registered with a new user, it will be registered. But let me first migrate the tables that I have. To remigrate over the migration, you will have to type PHP migrate and then colon and then fresh. So migrate a fresh PHP artisan, actually. PHP artisan migrate fresh. So it will migrate a fresh migration for that database. If we go and check our database, we will find that the products table will go away. Okay, so as we can see, if we refreshed, okay, there's a problem. The problem is that we didn't refresh. We didn't save this, okay, and we didn't refresh. So let's refresh and let's migrate again. It was connecting on the previous connection. So if we migrated, we will drop the products table, and sure it is dropped. All right. So now we have a web app with a fully authentication system. Let's register with a new user. Let's register. User at user.com. Oopsie.com. Oh my God. Password and password, and we have a user in our system. Simple as that. It didn't take any effort from us to build an authentication system. So now what we are going to do is I'm going to create the Crud operation, and the Crud stands for C for create, U for update, and R for read, and the D for the delete. Okay, so to do that, we are going to create a post model, and then we are going to create a controller for that model, and then we are going to go on with our CRUD operation. So first, let's go to the code and let's create a new model. Let's clear this up and let's type PHP artisan make model, and let's call this model a no, it's not product, I'm sorry, it's a post model, and let's attach a migration with it. All right, so let's hit enter. We have a model and we have also a migration. We can create a migration if we type PHP artisan make migration, and the name of the migration if we wanted to, but with that we will have to configure the table name in the migration. All right, if we created a migration with a table name, we will have to go to the model folder, to the model file, sorry, and type the table, configure it, table equals to the table name. So instead of doing that, we are attaching the migration with the post. So in somewhere in the code, it's linked as it is. So we will not have to type this line of code. Okay, so let us go to the migration now to add the columns we want to add. So we want to add a title. So let's add a table, table. Let's add a string, and it's a title. And let's add a text as a body. And we want to keep track of the user ID. So we will create a table. Actually, I forgot, is it a big integer or an integer? Let's create a big integer, and let's name it a user ID. And let's make something here, which I don't know how to say it in English. It's a specific thing for this column to make it an unsigned. Okay, so it will not be a negative and positive, it will only be a positive. If you don't type this thing and you wanted to make a relationship between the posts table and the users table, you will have to, you will get an error. Okay, but for this basic web application, it will not throw any error. So let's now, are we done with the migration? I think we are done. Let me check actually with the code I have written to not mess it up with you. I'm not copying from that code, but I wrote it to see if okay, we are good now. To structure my thoughts. So PHP artisan migrate, okay, and the new table is migrated. Okay, if we typed migrate fresh, we will erase the previous migration and we will create a fresh new migration. But with that, only the new table is created. If we migrate it again, PHP artisan migrate, it will say that nothing to migrate because nothing is new to migrate. All right, so if we check our database, we will find that we have a posts table, and inside that post, we don't have the new values because we didn't save that file. If we migrate, it will say that it's migrated. So let's drop these. Let's migrate fresh. Let's migrate fresh. Okay, and we will be logged out because we don't have that user anymore. Let's recreate this user.com password and password. Okay, so if we check here, we will find those columns we have created. Cool. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create our beautiful, amazing controller. And to do that, let's clear this and let's PHP artisan make controller. All right, and there's something we are going to do to this controller. We will call it first posts controller. Oh my god, let's delete this controller. There's something we are going to do with this controller to make life easier for us, which is we are going to add a option with this controller. So this option will make it a resourceful controller. Okay, what does the resourceful mean? If you remember the previous controller we created in part 1, you will notice that the controller was empty. It has nothing in it, but this controller has some things in it, predefined methods in it, okay? And they are the basic things we want. So we have the index method or function, and we have the create function, which will return the create form, and we have the store function, which will return which will store the function. We can notice that it receives the request. And also we have the show. This will show an individual product or post. And we have this edit function, which will view our edit form, and we have this update. As we can notice that we receive a request and an ID with it, and finally we have the destroy function. All right, so with that controller, we are going to route to that controller using only one line in the routes file. So if we go to the routes file, if we remember what we did in the previous routes file, we created several routes, or they were maybe 4 or 5 lines to go to this controller. But with that resourceful controller, we are going to go to this controller with only one line, which will be, let's go to the web, and now let's create a new route. Okay, let's name this route as resource. Okay, and let's make a general path, or let's say it's the base path for this resource route. Let's make it a posts. Okay, and let's pass the second parameter as the posts controller. So if you notice that here we are not going inside any specific function, we are going to the controller itself, and the resource route will route us inside this controller. So if we want to check these routes, when we were creating these routes in the previous part, we were able to manage them manually. We know what to type in this section of this method, or in the first parameter. But now we don't know. We only have this thing, and this has 5 things inside it, 5 or more things. So to check that, we will use again the artisan command. So let's head to the artisan command, php artisan route list. Okay, so let's check these. We have the posts routes here. These are all the routes that will take us to the posts controller. Okay, we have things up there. They are not for us. We will not touch them. They are related to the login system, and we have an API. Leave them for now. We are only interested in this section of this route. So if we want to go to the index, we will use the posts. We will only type posts and a get method, and which means that we will route to this posts from the URL. If we type posts with the post method, this will get us to store. Okay, so we have to be very specific here. If we want to get the index, we have to pass a get request. If we want to store, then we have to pass a post request. If we want to go to the create function, we have to type this in the URL and a get method. And if we want to show a particular post, then we have to type this with the post ID and with the get method. If we want to update, we will use the put. We will talk about it. In the previous part, we used the post request here, but in this we will use the put, which is the update version of post. And if we want to delete, we will pass the same URL. Notice that we have 3 same routes or paths, but the difference between them is we are using the get here, and we are using the put here, and we are using the delete here. Okay, and if we want to for example, to view the edit function, we will use this path. All right, so these things that used in the code itself when we route to the functions. So for now, let's go to the home page, home plate. If you didn't get this route list, then you have something messed up here. Just double check the typing here, the spelling. All right, let's go. Let's close this and let's go to the home plate. Okay, this home plate represents this in our web application, this thing. We are going to do our things here. So to do so, let's first edit the navigation bar. We have a very beautiful navigation bar that comes with Laravel. Let's edit that and add a posts, and let's add a create post here. Let's go to the app file. Let's scroll down until we find this thing. It's the navigation bar list, and let's add a list item with the class. I think it's item list. If we scroll down, we can find that nav item. No, it's drop down. We can find, we don't have any lists here. Item, nav item. It's a nav item. So let's copy this and let's paste it here. Posts. Let's close this L item and we will create, and let's create another one. Post. Let's make this as capital. Let's see what's the effect. Okay, so we have a problem here, which is the mx. I want it to be 2 to have some space here. Okay, and I want to make this as a, let's copy this. Why don't we copy from the first? I love copy and paste. Let's name this as posts and the route. This is the routing name convention. We are not going to use it for now. If we created an advanced playlist in the channel, we will try to use it and I will teach you how to use it. But for now, let's use the posts, okay, to go to the index method, and we will paste this and make another one with a create post, and this will go to posts create. Okay, so if we check this, all right, we have a beautiful links here, and here this one will fire up the index function in the posts request. If we try it, we will find a blank page which is returning nothing, and also this will return nothing because the route is defined and the method is defined, or the function in the controller is defined, but there is nothing in it, so it's not returning an error. Let's now create the create post form. Let's go to the views and create a new folder called posts. And inside that, we will create the create.blade.php, and we will copy this file because I love copy and pasting stuff and it makes me do some errors, but it's okay. So let's leave the container, and do I need the row? I don't think so. Let's create as the form that we created in the part 1. So we are now going to create a creation post or creation form. Let's open up a form with an action and a method. Let's close, and don't forget the CSRF token. My God, my autocomplete is a mess. And let's close this form, and now we are going to add the labels to the controller or the input fields to the form. Let's add a label. Let's call it what we want to add, the title. Let's close this label. And let's create an input as a type text, and the class is form control, and the name is title. Okay, so let's check this to see we are not retrieving this view, so we have to go to the products controller up here, posts controller, sorry, and in this method we are going to return the view which is located in the posts and create late. Okay, so let's refresh and let's return this, and we are returning this view. So now let's complete our work here to create a text area, and let's make it a class of form control, and I like to put a placeholder in the text areas. The body comes here. Okay, so let's check this out, and we have a lovely thing. We forgot to do the form control or the form groups. Let's check this out, and we have a very lovely form. We forgot to add the button that will submit this post. Button type submit, class btn primary question mark, yeah, submit, or you can type whatever you want. Let's check this out, a lovely blue button. And now we are good to go with this form. We can handle this form in the backend. So I think that is it for this video. I will continue with another one and see you in the next one. Don't go so far, please. Go to the next video. Bye.